How are you? Yeah. Hi all.
Hi, Five, you doing?
Okay, good afternoon. We have translation here if required, but we're going to try and get through as much as we can in English to save time. But if you do require translation, just raise your hand and then we'll try and provide that for you. We're going to start with Moose.
Injury news first of all. Saw Antonio Rudiger out training. Any chance he can play tomorrow?
He's in the squad, yeah, so there's a chance. And yeah, good to have him back, training really well. So he's got a lot of his fitness work done since the injury's healed. And the other news, I suppose, is tomorrow he's out. He's had he's got a small, tiny strain around his hip area, and it's been kind of bothering him for a little bit. So we'll take him out of it for a few days. And Olivier is still out as well for this game.
You're unhappy with the goals conceded at Everton on Saturday, so good time to have Rudiger back.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's those things are never absolutely individual things. Collectively, we have to look at those things. But we conceded really disappointing goals, which we can't afford to if we want to get to where we want to be.
You on the cusp of qualifying. If you win tomorrow night, you qualify, which would be a major achievement considering what's gone before this season and the tough group. But you've yet to win at the Bridge in this competition.
I'm well aware of that, and I think it would be a good achievement. I mean, I know there's expectations that we should get through a group. I get that, but it was a tough group, and the slightly young feel to our team. You know, the fact we lost the first game. There's a few difficulties that we've had, and I think we've dealt with them very well to get ourselves in this position. But there's still work to be done. So yeah, we have to go out to win the game.
And finally, from me, I guess the test of character as well. 2 defeats in the last three in if you include Man City before that. So a real test for your team. The first time I've had this sort of test this season.
Yeah, it is, and it was always going to come. You know, you don't want to lose game or predict losing games, but the way we are, the nature of the Premier League, this was never going to be a plain sailing, invincible season from our point of view. So teams and individuals need these tests. This comes with football, so it's a test for all of us.
Matt.
Thanks.
Frank, it happens with lots of players that when they're out for a long time with an injury, the fans build them up, and like when they come back, they're expected to just be incredible and change everything for that position that they're in. And it's happened with Rudiger a bit. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, Rudiger's going to be back, be amazing, but he's played 45 minutes in like a long time. How difficult is it going to be for him to hit the ground running?
Well, yeah, potentially difficult, but our guard against that was to give him a lot of work. So we've managed to create some things behind the scenes here in training that look like match play and some pure running as well, to be fair. And he's come through all that. So you can only speak as you look at him, and he looks fit and ready to go. And I know he's hungry. And in terms of the people building him up, probably rightly so. He's a good defender. I think people have maybe overlooked the fact that everyone spoke about youth at the start of the season and all these things and transfer bans, and I think the idea that we started the season with 5 big players all injured for a period of time, and carrying on that now, Rudy is just back, and Ruben, who's a big player for us as well. So you do miss those individuals. So let's see what he can add to us now.
Yep, Jeremy.
Frank, just going off piste a little bit, on Saturday night Fred was racially abused in Manchester, and it's a year ago that Raheem Sterling at the Bridge was racially abused. And what simply would you like to see done given this latest episode?
Well, I'll let the FA or whoever deal with it. But I think the line from Chelsea and how we are here as a club is that we're against any form of discrimination. Consistently say that when these things happen, we don't want them in our game. They have to be dealt with and punished when they come along, because we all know that there's work to be done still on that front.
And with regard to a spate of homophobic abuse as well, what would you say on that? Yeah,
same answer. It's discrimination, isn't it? It's the same thing. So we don't want it in any sort, at any ground in the Premier League or in society. It's quite clear. So I'm always strong when we speak about that. And yeah, what more can we say? It's actions, I suppose, now.
John Southall.
Frank, is it good to get back out there pretty quickly after Saturday, or would you rather have had a few more days on the training ground just to try and iron out some of those issues?
But it's a relatively tight turnaround, but that's the nature of what we're doing at the minute. We're playing a lot of games, so there's time to iron out the issues. I don't think it's about getting out on the training ground too much at this point of the season because the recoveries are so short, but there's what you can do in looking back at the game and working out there a little bit. So I'm pleased with playing.
Given what's at stake tomorrow night, is this the biggest game you've had, would you say, since you've been back as manager, or most significant?
Well, yeah, the idea of it's on the line that we get through to the next stage, of course, it makes it a big game. But, Lille away was big as well because of the position we're in, so was Ajax. So the big games are coming thick and fast. But, yeah, it is a knockout game, isn't it, as such? So, yeah.
I think it's 7 games in the month. How would you say the players are physically at the moment?
I think they're okay. I think it's not easy to turn around of games when you are playing midweek. A lot of big teams have that. So it's a test and a challenge on the squad. So we'll have to see how they stand up to that. They're fit boys. We do everything right that we can do around them. The recovery and the medical and everything is spot on for them. So we're not the only team in this situation. So we have to keep fighting.
Andy.
Frank, hearing you speak after Saturday, and with Chelsea being the club they have been over the years, it's almost you sense that a lot of the fans will be thinking, well, we have to spend in January now. I'm just wondering how determined are you that spending is not necessarily the answer? Everybody was saying, right, we have to spend, we have to buy, we have to buy. But with what you've done so far, how determined are you to kind of keep on that path?
I think you'll be careful with being too reactionary and ban lifted, defeat Everton. It's quite easy to come to that conclusion, I suppose. And just as much as people at the start of the season were saying, we've got all these young boys, this is going to be no problem, we don't need any players. I think as a club like Chelsea, it's a balance. You have a strong squad, which I believe in that we have, but you have to look at can we strengthen. And there will be, I think, times going forward, whether it's January, whether it's next summer, of course, we're going to look at the opportunity to strengthen because we want to improve.
But one defeat at Everton, or a couple of defeats, it doesn't really change your overall perception of what you've got to hand?
No, it doesn't change it at all. But you do learn as you go along with your players. You learn every day in training, you learn in games, of course. But it certainly hasn't changed my mindset right now. I was the same going into Everton.
You haven't changed where you walk in your dog either, if you lost a couple of games.
No, I have to change it. I'll go the other way round now.
Sammy.
Frank, there's obviously a fair amount of pressure going into tomorrow night. You know what you have to do. The victories send you through. How crucial are these kind of nights on young players, and how did these kind of nights shape how your career turned out?
Well, they're crucial for the players because I think you can be defined as an individual and as a group by success and what success looks like. And as we're saying, this means going into the next stage of the Champions League, which is a place we want to be in, and another platform for the players to play. I used to love that. I was fortunate enough to have big nights as a player, and they are the ones that stick in your mind. So it's opportunities now for the team to, particularly the young boys, and it's quite new to them, to make a mark. So I think it's good. I like the pressure of this game being knockout, and we're all talking about it. That's if we're going to do anything good here, we're going to have lots of these nights.
Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Jacob?
This season, a lot of the standout performances have probably been away from home. It seems a lot of the time at home, we've heard you come in and say at half-time maybe the passing wasn't quick enough in the first half, and obviously tomorrow night, huge test at home. Why do you think there's maybe been that little issue in those home games?
Well, the issue, yeah, I agree in terms of we would have wanted more in our home games, and I think quite a lot of it as well has been chance conversion. We've not scored away from home. We've gone and racked up some goals and some really good performances, and when you score, early in the game at Burnley, for instance, or Watford, it changes the face of the game. When you're playing relatively well at home but you don't score for 45 minutes, which has been our problem in a lot of games, you kind of add the pressure on yourselves. So I think some of it has been maybe moving the ball, but I think we've moved the ball pretty well generally, but we need to take our chances, especially ones that come early in the game. If you've got pressure, you need to convert it.
Okay, last question, Matt.
There's no knee-jerk reactions like you said, but they say that you learn a lot more about your players when results aren't going quite so well. Have you changed your mind over the last few weeks about what sort of positions you'd like to strengthen in, if you do in January?
That's always pretty fluid, so I haven't got any exact, I need this. You look at the squad as you go along, so I wouldn't say my mind was set on anything to be changed, but you do learn from your players. I agree with the statement in tough times, not just in terms of the what they do on the pitch, but how the personality is. That's what the disappointing thing with Everton was, that it wasn't just that we were off it slightly on the ball. We were a little bit, but more than that, I didn't like the fact that there were individual contact moments throughout the game that we lost. So that's a personality thing as much as anything else.
Okay, thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Cheers all. Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.